Oh, sorry. I thought I'd got you on a holding screen there. Well, that's not a very professional start. Put it down to being a little bit distracted. I mean, goodness, there's so much going on today in Britain. But I wanted to really pop on here and do a last video message about my surgery journey, because it's happening tomorrow. In fact, this time tomorrow, hopefully it'll all be done. I'll be in a hospital bed, feeling quite sore, feeling quite groggy, probably feeling a bit sorry for myself, but also really looking forward to what's to come. So I am about to have my last solid lunch for a few weeks. I know it's a bit late, but my days have kind of been like that at the moment. And tonight my last solid dinner for a few weeks. After that it'll be liquid meal replacements and soups for 10 days to 2 weeks, before I can then go on to the delights of pureed food and then soft food, etc. But I am also looking forward to soon having a bit more variety again in my diet, because I must say the 11-day pre-op diet that was supposed to be 10 days, it's not been that hard from a hunger perspective. I've kept myself really busy, and if anybody out there is watching this that's thinking of having this kind of surgery, I was really worried that I'd be so hungry at doing this pre-op diet before, of course, I'd actually had the surgery, and so I'd be really hungry. But as it happens, the hunger hasn't been that bad. It's got better day by day, and actually there have been times when I've been so busy I've literally forgotten to eat, and now it's 2:20. I haven't had time for breakfast, and this is not really healthy probably, but I haven't had time for any kind of breakfast, and I've still not had lunch. I'm about to have it after I've done this video, and I'm a little bit hungry, but nothing horrific, so it's all right. But I've mentioned being cold all the time, so the calorie deficit is really noticeable. Today is not as bad. I think it has got a bit warmer outside though, so I'm not sure I can entirely put it down to my body having adjusted, but I think it has adjusted a little bit. Sort of the middle days were the hardest in terms of feeling really chilly all the time and really feeling like my body was screaming out at me saying, put some calories into me, and I was resolute. I mean, it's all well and good, you know, I'm thinking, and I've had this conversation I think with Simon, having a laugh, you know, saying, well, it's this easy, I've lost 3.5 kilos in 8 days, why don't I just do this? But of course it wouldn't be healthy to be eating 800 calories a day and having such a restricted diet for too long, but also it wouldn't be sustainable. And the reason that I and so many people like me have surgery to rectify the issue is because actually, you know, we can all do it for a short period of time. Those of us who resort to surgery have spent a lifetime going on diets and watching what they eat and trying not to go on a diet and just be healthy and just be more active. But the thing is, it's almost impossible. And if you look at the data out there, literally our bodies are working against us by doing things like making us feel cold, so we want to eat more. But the whole brain chemistry is just set up to kind of keep us at the status quo. Our body likes that. It's I can't think of the word now. Homeostasis, like with your temperature. You know, your body will work very hard to maintain your temperature, and it does the same with your weight. So it just gets everything working against you, and the more weight you have to lose, the harder that battle is. So it's not just about the food, but also the exercise. You know, we can all exercise for a little while, but in my case, for example, every time I tried to exercise, my body would sort of work against me. So I started going on regular walks, and we're not talking anything majorly challenging, but I did my Achilles tendons in. I started going to Zumba classes, and I tore some fibers in a calf muscle. And so every time I try to do something, my body's just going, no, it's too much strain, stop it. And the whole point about doing this surgery is that I'll be able to do all of these things more and more, and the strain won't be so big on my body. So then the healthy eating is compounded by the healthy activity levels, and then I'll have more energy and I'll be able to do more activity, etc., etc. And the point is that hopefully I then will be discouraged from putting any weight on once it starts becoming a bit easier to cheat yourself again, because at that point I will actually be fitter and healthier and enjoying the exercise level. Now I can see that there are comments coming in, so just bear with me one moment. I just want to make sure, yes, the sound is off so that I can actually watch the comments as they're coming in and hopefully respond, because I can see. Thank you very much, Wendy. Thank you. And Sophie, not helping there. Chocolate orange. Oh my goodness. I don't know when I'm going to be able to have chocolate again. And thank you so much, Dale, as well. Yes, absolutely, the start of a new future, and I'm really excited. So I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I just want to, one of the reasons I'm blogging about this is because it's a really mental sort of issue as well, you know, the sort of how do I cope with this mentally, and I want to share that as well, because I work in positive psychology, mostly working with children and teachers and parents as positive education and character education. So I'm really interested in my mental processes from the perspective of somebody who's actually going through this at the moment, and how I'm using positive psychology to get through it. And one of the things is about the nerves. You know, of course, I'm a little bit worried. I've had general anaesthetics before, but it always scares me a little bit. I am worried about the pain afterwards. I'm worried about the major adjustment from you know, my entire relationship to food will have to change. And of course that's the point. That's why I'm doing this, because I have to change my entire relationship to food. But it's a scary thing to do, you know, a lifetime of habits that are going to have to change. And actually the last 11 days have already helped with that, because it has helped kind of mentally adjust my view of what is a normal portion, for example, and just kind of prepare for that from an adjustment perspective. But it is scary. But in terms of what happens in my brain and in all of our brains, actually, whether you are really nervous and anxious about something or whether you're really excited about something, it's the same process going on in your brain. It's the same stuff happening. It activates the same parts of your brain. So if you reframe those nerves as excitement, it really helps. And I've done this plenty of times in my life. It really is sort of something that you can do by just telling yourself repeatedly until you believe it, that you are really excited. I've not had to work too hard at telling myself that until I believe it this time. It was harder when I went and did stand-up comedy for charity. I had to really tell myself I was excited until on the last day I finally believed it. But actually, on this occasion, I really am mostly and overwhelmingly excited. I really can't wait. And what I would say is, if anybody is thinking of going through something like this, you know, the pre-op diet, at that point, it starts to feel real, you know. And so at that point, it really helps if you kind of keep yourself as busy as you can. The first few days of my pre-op diet, I was actually travelling. I'd just come back from Germany, where I'd been at an education conference, and I'd eaten just about everything in sight, because those were my last 4 days of eating wonderful food. So I'd eaten lots, and then I came back on the Sunday night, and on the Monday I started the diet, and I didn't actually get home until late on the Tuesday night. So I had 2 days of travelling around, being really busy, delivering workshops, going to see my daughter in Manchester, and that kind of kept it easier. And then the rest of last week went just as busily with other workshops, travelling up and down the country. And I was worried about this week. I was worried that the weekend and then this week, with me not having so much stuff away from home, would be hard. But actually, I've kept myself really busy working, and as I say, it's now nearly 2:30, and I still haven't had breakfast, let alone lunch, which I'm about to have. So actually, I've not been obsessing about food at all. I've not had time to obsess about food. Some practicalities, again, because as well as talking about the psychological aspects, I'm keen to provide something that there might be people I don't know who are watching this who are interested in the journey for their own potential of going through the same thing. Practicalities: if you're in the UK and you're under an NHS GP, as most of us are, you will have to go and see your GP. I'm doing the surgery privately, so the hospital, normally if you're doing it under the NHS, which my GP actually told me I could have had a 4-year waiting list to do this, but I'm doing this privately, so the hospital aren't going to be sending me home with liquid medication, etc. I've had to organise that, and the hospital, who have been brilliant in lots of ways, but they didn't actually tell me that until my pre-op last Friday. So my GP has been brilliant in fitting me in for a very long appointment, because it's not as though every medication you take can be just substituted for its equal in liquid form. So we've had to go through alternatives, and then unfortunately the NHS apparently doesn't pay for that if you're having private treatment. So it could have cost me hundreds. I'm not going to say too much, I don't want to land my GP in trouble, but let's just say I have a very good GP and it's not costing me hundreds. However, some things that might be available in liquid form he couldn't have given me on the NHS because of the huge prohibitive cost, and he didn't want me to go through that privately either, because some of them there was literally no price attached. So he said you could literally be paying £1,000 for one bottle of medication. So he's actually left some of my medications as they are. The ones that can be crushed, I will have to crush tablets, and those that are capsules that can be opened, I will just have to open the capsules and have the content. But I have a couple of things where he's given me replacements, things that can be sucked and things that can be taken in liquid form. So it's something to bear in mind from a practical perspective. And then little things like I've had other things under a general anaesthetic in recent years where nobody's batted an eyelid about me having gel on my nails. I have hard gel, it stops my nails from breaking, stops the nice colour gel from lifting. But I unfortunately went in with nice lovely red nails on my pre-op, and I had a very strict pre-op nurse who wasn't having any of it, even though I know that the SATS monitors work through the gel because I've had them used before, and I had them used that day and they worked. And they can look at perfusion through your fingertips, you know, to make sure that you're not short on oxygen. They can look at the colour of that on your toenails as well. But she was adamant. So again, I don't know if you can see, yes, so I've had all my nails done in a very natural gel, and then one nail on each hand has nothing on it, just so that I don't get into trouble when I go in tomorrow. So I think I've rambled on enough. I will just say again, thank you to everybody, all my friends and family. Thanks very much, Jess. Everybody who's really been supportive and amazing on this journey. I've been very vocal about it because I don't want to hide it. You know, it's an exciting part of my life, and it's you know, it's something that I'm doing for me, to be healthier, to live longer, to enjoy my life more, because I'm going to be in less pain with things like sciatica, and I'm going to be able to do more, and for much, much longer. So I'm really excited. That's why I'm being really vocal, and hopefully it'll help other people out there as well. But thank you to everybody who's listened to me banging on and on and on about my surgery as it's been getting closer, and I will keep popping on with updates. My next video update, I don't know, it'll be sometime next week, I would have thought. Hopefully by then I'll feel much, much better. And I'm sure I'll post updates and photos tomorrow anyway to let you know how it's all going. But thank you so much. And I shall now have to turn away from you while I put a holding screen on and stop the live video. And hopefully it's also gone live on YouTube at the same time as I'm practicing with the technology. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye.